Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Sports Extra, and I'm your host Ahmad Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. We've got a great lineup once again. We're going to be discussing cricket and football. Let's take a look at what's on the table of Sports Extra today. We'll start off with Pakistan versus Australia. The Test series has concluded. Australia have beaten Pakistan in the third and final Test match at the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore by 115 runs. Pakistan were bowled out, could not achieve the 351 run target that was set. Superb Australia, superb Australia. Me and Asif were just discussing before the show that this is Australia. This is no walkover side. They had done their homework. They knew what to do. They knew, how to handle the situation, how to handle the pressure. And I think credit to Pakistan because they always know how to lose. So I think that is another plus point to them for guys who kept on throwing their wickets away. I think of course, Australians are great bowlers, but our batsmen are not so great. So, once again, a very dismal performance from our batters. Nobody could take responsibility. Babar Azam can try and try and try all over again, but the results will be the same until you have a complete side that contributes. Cricket is a team sport. It's not an individual game. You need those 11 guys to perform on that day, and that's how you win Test cricket. I'm not talking about limited overs. I'm only talking about Test cricket. So I think a lot of positives for Australia. They need to keep their head up high, especially Pat Cummins. He's been a superb captain, a superb leader, and I think he set a great precedent coming to Pakistan with a complete side and winning a Test series 1-0. It is absolutely superb to watch, and I think congratulations to Cricket Australia and all the Australian fans and their team as well. We've really enjoyed their Test cricket. The Test cricket that Australia has played has been really competitive. After that, we'll be coming on to football in the second segment. It was the World Cup qualifiers, and we saw some great action and some intense games. I know the highlights will be the way Bale has been amazing, but how North Macedonia has stunned Italy once again, 1-0. Italy is going to miss a World Cup for the second consecutive time, and it's been a heartbreak for the Italians. And it is of course something to worry about because I saw a lot of Italian fans and their reaction on social media. But the way Gareth Bale has performed, 2-1, their victory was absolutely superb. We're going to be talking about that as well in detail. Time now to start our show with the cricket segment, and in studios we've been joined by cricket commentator and our cricket expert, Asif Ahmad. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum assalam, I'm doing good. How about yourself? You look a little dejected.
Not at all. I always wanted a result. Either way, I told you yesterday I want at least one side to win.
No, you're happy for the pizza, I'm sure.
No, no. Well, Asif knows me. But, more than the pizza, I'm really happy for Australia. I think they played better cricket and they deserve to win. On Sports Extra, we also have been joined by senior cricket commentator, cricket expert, one of the first female voice of cricket in Pakistan. And always great to have her whenever we get a chance to talk to her, be it her podcast, be it her YouTube show, be it her on Twitter and also on the show as well. It's always mesmerizing talking about cricket. Leena Aziz. Assalamu alaikum, Leena. How are you?
Walaikum salam, Ahmad. Hope you're well. Seeing you after a long time, but not on a great day.
Well, we say not on a great day, Leena, and I'll give you, of course, the starting say in this. I mean, somewhat it was expected that we're going to falter. We don't have a good record in fourth innings, and the way we've seen underconfident batters in our side says it all.
Yeah, well, there are quite a few reasons why we lost. First of all, the moment 350, the target was given 350 runs, it was certain. I mean, in my mind, it was such a courageous move by Pat Cummins to give a target of 350, which is very achievable. So he made a courageous move, and as we all know, cricket is all about courage. He made the courageous move as a leader and gave his team a chance. Pakistan also had a chance, but like you said, we don't approach things sensibly. Then for me, the main thing today, was Azhar Ali's decision. Asif Yaqub had no reason overturning this. He had no conclusive evidence to overturn the decision. The problem is that the third umpire does not understand his job. His job is to overturn when he has conclusive evidence. In this case, he did not even understand the difference between a murmur and a spike. So things got Azhar Ali is our main batsman. He has the ability to stay on the crease. Even if Pakistan wouldn't have won the match, which was a very, very slight chance anyways, just 5% in my mind. he would have then able, he was playing, he looked good, so he would have stayed on the crease and things wouldn't have, as soon as his wicket fell the way it did, Pakistan collapsed. So these are the few things, and then of course Fawad Alam is not in great form. The ball wasn't coming on the bat. There are so many things to discuss, but in my mind, that was the main event of the day today.
Definitely. Yeah, Asif, you're smiling right now, but I know that you are going to pour your heart out on Sports Extra today.
Honestly, after watching today's game, everyone is asking that what was the role of our batters? And after 2 decades, if you talk about 2000 and now it's 2022, and still with on the same position that we can't bat in fourth innings. And this is what happened in cricket, and that's why I really respect Miss Leena, and of course she's legend for me because she's a motivational. I take really motivation in commentary. Personalities
From Leena.
No, personalities like Leena. So the issue is that, but I do not agree with this point that the Azhar Ali was in good touch. Honestly, if you talk about his last innings that I was watching and everyone watching, that he was not even playing with the straight bat. He went for the cut shots, he went for the flick shots. I do understand that, I mean, in your cricket or in your batting, it comes up that you'd have to play according to the situation. But a batter like Azhar Ali, plenty of experiences, around 90 test matches, even then you are going for the late cut on a swapson or a leg spin bowler, and you have seen that they have taken a slip as well. You know that he dropped the catch there. I think the confidence was not there, honestly. And if you see the courage of Pat Cummins, as Miss Leena said, that to be very honest, that they have won only one reason, because they were really brave. And we were on the defensive position from day one. We were thinking that Australia is coming, and we are going with the flat pitches, straight pitches. And this is what happened. A lot of talk about the pitches in last 2 test matches.
It doesn't matter anymore. Australia won on the same pitch.
This is what I'm talking about. And they won because of their brave and their courage decisions. What happened in the last, I mean, if you talk about the yesterday's decision, that 350, and everyone was talking about them. I mean, it's too early that they've gone for the declaring their innings. But issue is that this is how you win the match. This is how you go for to put down the opposition. So I think the question is, Azhar Ali still, he would play for Pakistan. For me, I would respectably say thank you very much, Azhar Ali. This is the time to say goodbye, and goodbye cricket, and give some chances to the youngsters like Saud Shakil, as you were talking to me, Kamran Ghulam, of course, there. And if you're not giving them chances, and you think that you played 90 tests and you're going to play 100 tests, 100 tests playing is, though it's a huge achievement, but the big achievement, the other than this, is that the Pakistan is winning and Pakistan is beating Australia in the home side. I don't know either he's getting chance for the next time, that either he would be in the side for the next Australian tour or not. But for this, I think Azhar Ali, for me, Azhar Ali and Fawad Alam, they two guys are responsible for our defeat.
It's all about taking responsibility. Leena, we've had a problem in Pakistan where batters have not tend to take responsibility. The last time we saw that was from Yunus Khan, a guy who could reach those double hundreds, those triple hundreds, single-handedly try to save a match or win a match for your team. I understand there are a lot of contributions from Azhar Ali, and of course we are very appreciative of the fact, and we thank him. There was a huge revolution to bring Fawad Alam into the team, and it was successful, obviously very late, but it was successful. Now the question is that there was a reason why we got rid of Asad Shafiq, saying that look, he's not performing anymore, although I thought he was technically a lot better than some of the players we have now. Now comes a point where we need to decide. We've got many youngsters with domestic experience knocking at the door of Pakistan cricket. In the next couple of years, they will fade with the sands of time as well. Where do we go from here onwards into the future if we talk just about our batters in Test cricket?
Look, first of all, I'll tell you, I'll start with Azhar Ali. Azhar Ali got 180 odd in the first test. He got a 50 last test match. He was batting well now. So if he needs to be dropped from the team, it is not his job to drop him, but the management's job. If they want to drop him, in spite of those performances, well and good. But then they have to have someone who's ready to take his place. I mean, I don't know who's ready to take his place. If you talk about other batsmen, Babar batted well, Rizwan batted well. If you talk about Fawad Alam, he's done really, really well up till now. In his career, although he was, for 10 years, he was deprived to be in the team. We know his technique, how he bats, what's his stance, everything. But this series he failed, so we can give him, one series that he failed. Maybe we can give him one or two more opportunities, and then maybe change him. When you talk about Asad Shafiq, before he was dropped, he was given ample opportunities, and he failed so many times. And then afterwards, he was dropped. At that time, I remember we were all saying, "Why don't we drop Asad Shafiq and bring in a new guy?" Just like we're talking about Saud Shakir. The thing is, it is not easy to bat in test matches against sides like Australia who are so seasoned. We don't. The reason we lost is not because of batsmen so much. It's because our spinners weren't able to win us matches. On these dead tracks, the spinners need to come to the party. Our spinners are not match winners. Sajid, he's a good spinner, but have you checked his action? His non-bowling arm falls straight away. And everyone's talked about it. In fact, I was the first one to talk about it when I was commentating for at the
But Leena, I'm sorry for the interruption. I just saw a stat yesterday. You saw it probably on Twitter as well, which had the list of spinners performing in the last couple of domestic seasons. I understand Sajid and Numan were there, but at number 3 we had Zaid Mahmood. Why are we so shy of playing Zaid Mahmood in test matches? Why can we not consider that yes, Numan and Sajid have a better record in domestic, but you need to judge the side as well. Australia is a bit weak against wrist spinners.
Absolutely. Excellent question. That is a matter of courage. Our management should have had the courage to play Zahid Mahmood, especially when they had him in the squad. We didn't have Yasir Shah, so that is the only leg spinner we have. And you know what kind of talk was going on social media? Why don't we play Shadab Khan? If you want to play Shadab Khan in test matches, he will have to go to Qaid-e-Azam Trophy, play a few seasons there, understand what is long version bowling, what are the sort of little things you have to do when you're bowling in test matches. It is entirely different bowling in one days, and it's entirely different bowling in test matches. So coming back to Zahid Mahmood, if you had him in the squad, you should have picked him, because Sajid is not a match winner. He still has a few problems with his action which should be fixed. He's got a great story. I want him to succeed, but then he should have had the courage. And in the end, who wins matches? Managements and captains who have courage and show courage. And who showed courage? Pat Cummins showed courage. And Dr. Zafar Altaf often used to say that courage is the main prerequisite of cricket, and you have to show it. You have to take that risk. You should be able to take a risk. Who took a risk? Pat Cummins took a risk by declaring at 350. Pakistan had even chance. Yesterday, when they got that start, the two openers gave us that start. Everyone was talking about the win, and I kept on telling everyone that chase is not an easy thing. Every half an hour brings different challenges. So if and I yesterday at PTV World, I said we have 2% chance, and that is exactly what happened. You have to understand that chasing in a fourth innings, when there's wear and tear, rough, fifth day pitch, it's not easy. It's not easy for any team. I can bet that had Australia been batting last, they would have had similar problems.
Definitely. Look, this spin thing is something that you've been saying since the past 2 weeks now, not even this week of this test match. Because
even before the start of the series.
Like I said, I understand that their numbers are great in domestic cricket, but then again, you need to use a different weapon for each situation. And in this situation, Zaid Mahmood was the perfect candidate for test cricket.
Well, guys, to be very honest, that Ahmad is really sad the way he's asking questions, honestly.
No, I have another name. If I say that, Asif is going to give you the entire stats, and that is Bilal Asif.
Yes, look, as Miss Leena said, and she was talking about the Sajid's action, that coming up with this action and then delivering the ball like this. Why you're not talking about that in the test cricket? If you're not giving flight and if you're not able to bowl dusra, you won't be really affected. And this is what I'm saying for a long time. And Ahmad Ahmad does know that the Ahmad For me, Bilal Asif is more better than the Sajid. Why? Bilal Asif is coming up with the straight arm, with the he could bowl dusra, he could bowl straighter delivery.
He was looked similar to what Ashwin was doing for India.
Yes, exactly. And look, let's suppose it on the same pitch, if Syed Ajmal and Saklan was bowling there, or if you talk about the Ashwin is there or Harbhajan Singh is there, it's all about your abilities and sorry to say, Sajid was not perfect for that. So that's why we kept talking and we keep talking that the selectors are responsible to bringing Sajid once again. You're bowling against Bangladeshi batters in Bangladesh, taking some wickets. After bowling 30-35 overs does
against
not matter.
A weak Bangladesh side.
Yes,
Very weak
yes,
Bangladesh
very
side.
Weak Bangladesh side. This is Australia. You would have to take some bold decisions, as Miss Leena said, that it's always about your courage and showing that you're confident.
I mean, I'll be very honest, Asif, the dismissals were those which the batsman tried to hit shots. You couldn't set the batsman up, your spinners. There was no trying to open the gate, trying to bowl one down the leg side. No skill level was there.
Really important thing. When you talk about skills, they are the test players, guys. And of course, we can't teach them. And they got the best coaches. And now they're playing the best cricket. And this is the test cricket. And if your technique is problem there, and if you are not coming up with common approach, then definitely the questions are there. So I'm quite sure that we'll be learning from these mistakes, because Ramiz Raja is there and he always talks about accountability. I'm sure that he would be ready for the accountability as well, because personally he talks a lot about pitches, and he has been facing lots of criticism concerning these pitches. And now the question is that if Azhar Ali is not there, as Ma'am Leena said, that then who would be there? Saud Shakil is there. So if I'm taking her words, if no one is there, then even then you will talk about the system. Then what system is producing? System is not producing any quality players.
Who could replace them?
Yes, who could replace them? If system is not producing any other Mohammad Yusuf, any other Inzamamul Haq or Saeed Anwar.
But maybe the system is not letting them be part of it, because when Kamran Ghulam scored the highest number of runs in a calendar domestic season, that was about 1,200 runs, he should have been drafted into the side straight away, but he got no chance.
You know why?
No.
Okay, this is the question now, that he doesn't know, I don't know. We saw the stats, we saw the performances, and now we don't know that why he was not in the playing 11, or even why he was not in the squad. The question is, for me, that is really embarrassing, that a player who is coming up with the domestic circuit, playing there, performing there, and you're not choosing, and you're just focusing on the phone calls. Shameful. Sorry.
I mean, Pakistan will be Pakistan, but Leena, at this moment, I'm really in awe of Nathan Lyon. I've always been a huge fan of his bowling, and like you also appreciated Pat Cummins for taking a bold and brave decision. We really got to applaud this Australian side. They were absolutely spot on in everything that they were doing. Had two tough test games where they went for draws, the intense level of games that were being played, flat tracks, everything involved. But really, credit to them. They've shown us why they're Australia.
Absolutely. I mean, they're a wonderful side. There's no doubt about it. They'll go to any terrain and win matches. But right now, Asif was talking about the systems not producing players like Inzamam and Mohammad Yusuf. The system never produced those players. Those were natural talents. We always had these pitches where, dead tracks where, where the players would make tons and tons of runs in domestic circuit. But once they were given chance against an international side, whether at home or abroad, they would never come up to expectations. And that is why I want that, and I'm very certain and sure that Ramiz Raja has been talking about pitches. Once the pitches improve in the domestic circuit, there is some pace and bounce in the pitches, then we will see the real talent. Then whichever batsman will get runs on those slightly difficult pitches with some pace and bounce, those will be the batsmen who will then come from domestic circuit and perform for Pakistan, whether away or at home. So the pitches are one of the main reasons. I'm completely sure that Ramiz Raja will walk the talk. And if he's talking about pitches so passionately, and of course these pitches are coming now, the drop-in ones, and there is also talk about the experimentation of the soil. from Australia. So if once these pitches at home will improve and the domestic circuit pitches will be better, we will start getting better talent. And I, for one, I think we don't have any dearth of talent, but that will be polished talent who has the ability to play, batsmen who have the ability to play on good tracks, and bowlers who can get batsmen out on good tracks also. So both, I mean, the pitches are one of the main reasons. The talent is there. The talent has to play on better pitches. But I'm quite certain that Rameez will, inshallah, be getting those pitches for the upcoming domestic season. And then slowly, I mean, it's not a magic wand. Slowly, within 1 or 2 years, if he's allowed to work, allowed to take his vision forward, in 1 or 2 years we will see the difference. And the Pakistan team is already, we must remember that the Pakistan team is already in the test, vis-a-vis the test match championship scenario. They're already at number 2. Australia were number 1 and they were number 2. I don't know the situation right now, but just before this test match finished till yesterday, they were number 2. So pitches will make a difference, and that is, for me, is the main thing. Then comes selection, then comes bravery, then come management's decisions, the captain's bravery. That will all have to be instilled. And how for that, I always say that there should be a psychologist, there should be someone who should be talking to them. Foreign coaches are one way of making them brave and courageous. So they're tiny little steps, baby steps. And that is why I say that Ramesh Raja should be allowed to work and take his vision forward. And then let's see in 1 or 2 years what he does. I'm very certain things will improve because we have the talent. We saw in PSL what kind of talent we have. And, but we have to streamline the system. I will point out one little thing. How the system doesn't work the way it should. Last year, we all heard that everyone said that Dhani was selected for the longer format. Then, without playing a test match, Dhani was nowhere to be seen. And then, when the first test match came, we said we have injured fast bowlers. If Dhani was playing, or if he was given 1 or 2 chances, he would have been ready to replace Hassan Ali when he was injured. And so we won't have had to tinker with the pitches so much, So,
Right.
yes, I mean, these things have to be streamlined.
Definitely. Streamlined indeed. Asif, the test series is done and dusted. Australia won the Richie Benaud Kadir Trophy. The Richie Benaud Kadir Trophy was the name of this series. They're taking it home. Not just Richie Benaud, but even Abdul Qadir, they're taking it home.
Yes.
Now comes the limited overs format, 1-days and T20s. What should the people know about them? What is going to be there for Pakistan as a challenge against Australia?
Well, that the clear difference was 2 players from the Australia, Pat Cummins and Usman Khaja. And why Pat Cummins was so special, because he bowled tremendous Yorkers.
Okay.
And I always talk about the importance of Yorkers in cricket.
Right.
So we were talking about the importance of Yorkers in shorter format, but we have seen that how important this is even in the Test cricket as well. So I think that they're superior, no doubt, that they got a very good strength in batting, bowling. Their fielding is superb. But we could give them some tough time in ODIs, and hopes are there, because that we do know that Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan is a pair who could play anywhere, and they could play some match-winning innings.
Definitely.
But one thing, and that is the important thing, is that is once again we do not have good quality spinners in ODI, because as Miss Leena said that people were talking about Shadab. Even Shadab improved a lot in last couple of months. We have watched him in a T20 World Cup. He bowled really nicely. Even Ahmad was there, and Nawaz was also there. So even then, we're looking forward, and I want to watch a special off spinner, a typical off spinner in white ball cricket.
In the one-day cricket as well. But that's going to be that. Asif, thank you very much for joining us. Leena, Aziz, thank you to you as well for joining us on Sports Extra. Before we go ahead, let's take a look at our segment recap. We of course discussed Pakistan versus Australia, the fact that Australia has beaten us by more than what we had imagined, 115 runs, and they've taken the third and final test match of the Richie Benaud and Abdul Qadir Trophy. They won the series 1-0 after 24 years, and they're on the victorious side. Of course, it's been disappointing for Pakistan, and it's been a fifer for Nathan Lyon if you talk about the game itself. On that note, we'll go towards a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be back with football. Welcome back to Sports Extra. Now, before we move ahead, as Asif was just leaving the studios, he confirmed that he has indeed lost his bet to Rizwan Haider, and he is indeed up for the pizza that he's supposed to pay at his service, because Rizwan did predict that Australia is going to win the test match. And so congratulations to you, Rizwan Haider. Good enough pizza coming your way, and Asif is always there to honor his debts wherever they may be. So that being said, we're going to be talking about football now. It was interesting, very interesting indeed, because it was the World Cup qualifiers. It's been a heartbreak for some, it's been a fairy tale for some. We've got a report, let's take a look and then come back.
European champions Italy will not play in the 2022 World Cup after being stunned by North Macedonia in their playoff. Alexander Trzaskowski picked up the loose ball in the 92nd minute, drove forward and fired a sensational winner from outside the area. It is just 8 months since Roberto Mancini's side celebrated one of their greatest triumphs, beating England at Wembley to win Euro 2020. The loss means Italy have failed to qualify for a second consecutive World Cup. Macedonia will be facing Portugal, who maintained their focus and survived a late scare against a valiant Turkey side. On the other hand, a brilliant double from Gareth Bale took Wales to the brink of a first World Cup since 1958 thanks to a 2-1 win over Austria. Bale's stunning free kick and strike into the top corner either side of half-time gave the home side a 2-goal advantage. Wales will face Scotland or Ukraine for a place in Qatar later this year.
There you have it, all you need to know about what happened in those encounters. And to discuss it further in studios, we've been joined by our sports expert, football youth coach and expert Sabil Hazir. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum Ahmad, I'm doing very well.
Italians aren't doing well at all. I mean, the second consecutive time that you're able to do this, it must be shocking.
It is definitely a surprise. Twice in a row, especially when you're European champions right now. And I think it's the biggest upset that could have happened is Macedonia getting to the playoff final. The fact that they were in the playoffs to begin with is an immense achievement, and that itself is something that they should be proud of. But now that they're here, you know, they're just one step away from the World Cup. They could realistically do it. They've got Portugal coming up. So it's a tough ask, and I don't think they'll be able to do it. But look, after this, I don't want to doubt their capabilities.
But what went wrong for Italy? I mean, if they were goalless till the 90th, I think that says it all about the game, because we've often talked about this on Sports Extra, that we expect sides to dominate lower ranked opponents convincingly.
So I think their setup was too negative, Italy's. So the Italian national side, everybody knows, is not a team that goes and gets tons of goals. They keep a tight ship at the back. They make it really hard for teams to score against them, and then they go nick 1 or 2 goals. They're very, very good forward players, but they're not proficient, or they're not meant to be for the Italian team. They're meant to cause a lot of runs, keep teams on their toes, and then maybe on the counter create enough space that a late run from the wings or midfield can go and get a goal. They're not even necessarily the people that they're creating chance for other people. It's not necessarily just for themselves. I think they started too negatively. They have great players, Italy, but they started with Verratti, Jorginho and Barella in midfield. Great midfield, no doubt, right? They kept most of the ball as we expected them to do. Obviously, Insigne and Immobile and these players playing up front, there was no real penetration. I think when you have those players and they're keeping possession, why are you not playing more forward passes? Why are you not trying to get behind the lines
The
more?
long ball. I always keep on saying the long ball.
So they've set up exactly like they would against a top-class team. It's like, no, a team like Macedonia, play more positive, get some more attacking players on the
They've
pitch.
got nothing to lose.
Go at them more. You kept the ball well. You did go at them a little bit, but this isn't a top-class side. No offense to Macedonia. They're not that yet. You should have played more aggressive, should have played on the front foot, and they should have closed down space properly. The goal, I know it comes at the end of the game. People are tired, but he chests the ball down, runs through, and nobody closes him down, and he has a shot from distance. Trzaskowski, I can't even pronounce his name properly. He plays in Saudi Arabia. He's not expecting that kind of space against Italy. So when they gave it to him, he's like, yeah, I'll have it. And he scores that amazing goal. But who's closing them down? I think it was too negative approach, too lackadaisical as well from a team that survives. That thrives on being survivors.
Yeah, but now survives.
Yeah, but they need to, against teams like this, be more assertive and aggressive.
What does it do to Roberto Mancini? What's going to happen now?
I don't know, because it's a conundrum, right? He's made you European champion, so you can't really say he's done a bad job. They didn't qualify for the last World Cup. That's not his fault. So it's clearly just a problem with the mentality. I think they should keep him. I think Mancini has done a great job there. I think they'll learn from this. excuse me, there just needs to be a kind of understanding that, look, just because we're Italy doesn't mean we play defensive, shut up shop football all the time. We can be a bit more expansive and expressive with our football. But I really hope they don't get rid of
Macedonia's got a lot of hope now going ahead, like you mentioned, that you never know.
Definitely. After you beat European champions, no other team in Europe is the European champions, right? Like, I get it. But Portugal, even if it was Wales, even if it was Scotland, right? Like, even if they were playing any of the teams left, they'd be an underdog. Portugal's the big one. Portugal's really hard to beat. Cristiano Ronaldo himself, when it comes to small teams, by the way, Ronaldo loves getting a goal. He's not one of those guys who he delivers against both big and small teams, and he really goes at small teams. So I think they're going to really struggle. But one game, you just need to hold on for one more game and you're there. I'm sure they'll be massively motivated, and if they do it, it's incredible. Genuinely, it'll be the biggest story of the World Cup is them getting
Portugal, fair enough, were good on the day, but Turkey's becoming a really good side over the years.
Yeah, I really think they have players. They've had players since I've been growing up. We've seen Alton Top, we've seen Sahin, we've seen all these really, really good players. Obviously, a lot of them play in Germany, a lot of them are German, Turkish, so we don't know who they're going to end up playing for. But they're producing talent. Turkey is producing talent. They have good diasporas, like I said, in Germany. They have a wealth of players. Cengiz Ungur, they've got these players kind of coming through now. They can't really make a system. It seems like they're still stuck in the Turkey that was playing 20, 30 years ago, but they had to play more defensive. It's like, no, you're producing very good wingers, you're producing very good attacking midfielders. So maybe, again, the same advice I would give to the Italians, play a bit more expansive. But I think that's the problem. They played too defensive, but you're right, they are good players there, and I feel like if they'd express themselves a bit more, Portugal isn't, it's a top team, no doubt, they've got world-class players, but they're a beatable side.
They're a beatable side indeed. Now coming to the next game, of course, I also agree with Sabeel that Portugal is going to have the better of Macedonia, but you never know. But coming to the other game, Bale was absolutely clutch on the day.
Clutch. You that's my favorite word. The free kick, immense. The second goal, the technique to get around the ball and put it in the far corner, it's incredible. I really think he steps up. The Spanish media is having a go at them after for being too harsh on him. I don't get where all this hate for Gareth Bale comes from. This is a man who has done it all. Genuinely, if you look at his career, you would be like, that is one of the best careers in football. He's won multiple Champions Leagues, always delivered on big occasions.
But you could see the hunger being deprived of football in the league showed here.
Yeah, for Wales, he always shows up. He always shows up. And if, this might seem like a bit harsh, I think if Real Madrid and Real Madrid fans might not like this, if they're treating him with a bit more love and, been a bit more honest about how much he's done for their club, he'd be performing like that, I think, for them in the league as well. But for Wales, Bale steps up time and time again. He is the definition of a clutch footballer. I think Austria, a lot of their big names didn't show up. I think Baumgartner wasn't very good. I think Arnautovic had a flurry of balls being thrown into the box where he got a head or a foot to it and he didn't do much with it. Sabitzer was the only, obviously the Munich man, was the only player who was actively looking to really take it to Wales throughout the game with all the possession they had, and he obviously got a deflected goal. But I really think it, that's the difference between maybe an Arnautovic and a Bale, apart from the difference in talent is when your team needs you to step up, and Arnautovic had chances to step up, and I love Arnautovic, he used to play for Stoke, but Bale does that. That's clutch.
I read something that said that he's making, he's enjoying his time at Wales, scoring goals, and then going back to Spain and playing golf and making 20 million euros. So that says a lot about the career.
Not a bad life.
Not a bad life indeed. But they've got a good chance that they're playing you. That's very, if I think of it, very interesting.
So Scotland obviously have to first overcome Ukraine. Now, because of the political issues, the match is being delayed. So it's now being played in the summer. I think Scotland should win it. I favour them as a team. And
then Scotland and Wales.
Tough. It's tough. Even if it was Portugal, even if it was, I would only want to play Macedonia if I'm being honest, because I feel like Scotland would really, although Scotland has a terrible record against smaller teams, but
they're like us.
But Wales, it'll be a great match for sure. The difference, and I've said this before, I think the reason Wales qualified for more tournaments in the last 20 years than Scotland is, even though Scotland, I think pound for pound, is a better team per position, Wales has the X factor that is Gareth Bale. They had Aaron Ramsey in his prime. They had these kind of X factor players who can make a difference on their own. Scotland's really lacked that. So now this is the ultimate test. Is it the X factor that wins, or is it the team as a whole that wins? So it's going to be a great game. I think all, like, obviously the stakes are high and they're going to be fun to watch, but they're good matchups. Portugal against Macedonia, Ronaldo loves coming big in these
Yeah,
games
like you
that.
said.
Wales against Scotland, again, like I said, it's that
But
X
their
factor
style of
system.
play, is it going to be successful against bigger ranked teams when they move ahead?
So we're talking about Macedonia or
For
Wales?
Wales,
Oh.
yeah.
They've had success. You know, they shut up shop and they try getting Bale on counter. Don't forget what Robson Kanu did in the last major
Yeah.
tournament. You know, so they have players who like I said, show up in clutch moments. It won't take them too far, but they're always good for a surprise. I think if they get past the group stages, nobody should be surprised at that. Although it will be considered an upset, I think even if they make it to the quarterfinals, people will. I think that they have the caliber of players to do that, just X factor players to do that. Beyond that, they're not getting. Let's be realistic. They haven't even gotten the World Cup. We're being very mature about all this. My own personal thing is I hope Portugal and Scotland, Macedonia and Wales could all play in the World Cup. That because I love all four of those
There
teams.
you do, and that is interesting. But thank you very much, Sabeel, for being on the show. Great talk, of course. But we've got a segment recap. Let's take a look at what we were discussing. We, of course, talked about football, and in football, it was World Cup qualifiers, how North Macedonia have stunned the Italians. It's been a heartbreak for Italy fans who, for the second consecutive time, are not going to be part of the Football World Cup. It is, of course, shocking and devastating for them, but North Macedonia are having a dream run. And then going ahead, they're going to be facing Portugal, who overcame Turkey. So it's an interesting one when you talk about that game as well. And then elsewhere, we had Gareth Bale with a superb performance, 2 goals for him, leading his side to victory against Austria, and moving ahead, they're going to be probably playing Scotland. That's what we want, and it's going to be an interesting encounter there as well. That wraps it up for me and the entire team. Until our next show, it's goodbye for now.